Hello everyone and welcome to our very special edition of ESH News Ladies Night, everyone! Yeah! Alright, so in this show tonight we're gonna have, first of all, got Asi over here, which is my co-host, and I guess he's like my ultimate hangout guy wherever revolves around the flat earth, and he's like the technical guy and the inspiration guy, and whatever I do with flat earth is just with his texture and touch, I guess. So welcome to the show, Asi, and tonight we're gonna have of course we're gonna have interviews only with ladies over here, and it's gonna be
ladies night.
A ladies night, yeah. But first off, we're gonna talk about the thing that I like to speak about each week, which is of course the ESA website, ESA Facebook page. ESA is the Israeli Space Agency, Asi. I'm following them every week, and they give me great inspiration of stupid things that can be brought online and been shown to the public and make the public believe in. So let's search this page and see what they got after this week. If you remember, like the previous weeks, we got the name picking for the Israeli Star, and we got the committee over there that met up and kind of like deciding the name. So they still haven't got like a final answer from what I saw. Otherwise, they will publish it, I guess. Here's the workshop that we saw last week, and here is they received a big final of this star picking name. We will get to that, I guess, in the following weeks, because they surely need to publish the results. And over here I see, I kind of like noticed that this week they have a really busy week over here in this Facebook page. They have all kinds of like interesting articles about rockets and about people, about how our satellites doesn't fall.
So technically they do fall.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah, I can read all about it, okay? And all kinds of other articles. I want to focus on this one,
Wow,
okay?
this is beautiful.
Yeah, this is beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on with this one, especially with this picture over here. This is kind of like a creepy thing, I think. This is, yeah, you see, this is yeah, it's about the planet star of the Big Bear. Okay, they're having like they're having a night, okay, of astronomy fans. Okay, it's in the Kinneret. Okay, it's in the academic center of the Kinneret in the north, and they're going to focus on the stars group and the astronomy and the evolution of astronomical thinking. Yeah, and how can we found the Northern Star? Okay, and the entrance is free.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. But I don't know, I get a little bit creeped up from the picture over here. Why the hell do they publishing this weird, looks like a pumpkin of for Halloween, yeah, and
smiley face.
yeah, like a really scary thing going on over here. There's a thing over here. They keep like scaring us with all kinds of like I don't know things that yeah, they have like dark matter in space, and they have like this demons that they see from the atmosphere that are shaped like a demon. And, yeah. So here they have like the constellation over here of the Big Bear, and it's kind of like shaped like a, I don't know, creepy face over here. So this watch actually should like attract us to go to this event, right? Of course, we want creepy stuff. All right.
We're there.
Yeah, we're there. Okay, good. So let's go signing up and see what's it's all about.
I love the music.
Yeah. Tonight is special. We got ladies coming over here, and we're gonna talk to them. This is why we dressed properly and put the right slogan and everything. Okay, so we're glad to invite you in the astronomy fan meeting, to the Big Bear constellation. Yeah, the second hero of our meeting will be the sun. In the next month, the moon will cover the sun. In various places in the world there will be an eclipse. Okay, we will soon find out how do you predict an eclipse and what the first scientists gain out of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
what did he gain out of it?
I don't know, we should go to the event and see, I guess. Okay, let's see what other crazy stuff they got us over here. We got like
This is good.
Yeah, they got from the other side of the moon. They got like a telescope that gives us a glimpse to the universe.
I wish they could open an academy for Photoshop.
Indeed. And over here we got they took the song of Untitled. Okay, they put it in they kind of like attached it to this picture over here. You know this song? Yeah, it's like Adam from the 80s. You remember? Adam from the 80s. It's a singer. Okay, good. So Isa has got really good things planned for us, and I guess we keep following them. We'll continue on to the show, to our next segments with lots of female, women, ladies, exciting guests. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, so we're back to this segment, and I'm really happy to host on our ESH News the lovely Cami, and Cami Knodel, right?
Cami Knodel, yes, very, very close. We don't pronounce the K, but yeah.
Okay, good. And I guess this is a great addition to our ladies' night over here. And we're really excited to host you and to hear what you got to say as a flat earther, as a woman, as a person, and as what, Asi, particularly?
As a woman.
No, we already said a woman.
But we need a woman.
Well, we need a woman.
It's ladies' night.
It's ladies' night. Okay,
it's all
good.
about the woman tonight.
Right. All right, good.
It's really nice to be here. You're right, as a lady. A lot of people know me as Bob from Globebuster's wife, and currently we have the Globebuster show going on right now. Mm-hmm. Flat Earth Wives Matter, so that's part of my role as a woman, as I am a Flat Earth wife, and I try to do everything to support my husband getting the word out there. Mm-hmm. I also do a lot of research on my own. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody is familiar with it. I do it a lot quieter than he does. My husband does what I would call the important work, as far as he's revealing the lies and revealing the deceptions and waking people up to it. Me, I'm a more curious person by nature, so I quietly in the background. I just want to know how it all works. Mm-hmm. And so that works with like possibilities and different plausible things, but it's a background fun work for me to do, and it's a world of discovery and beauty, and it's very much a ladies type of thing that I don't know, that could be putting it arrogant, but looking at the beauty that's all around us and really stopping and looking at the children, at the way things work, at the way things grow. I call it all feminine. I mean, it's all girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. Now we always like seeing pretty much Bob in the front, and I want to speak a little bit about your particular role. First of all, let's how do you see your role in this relationship? Because it's kind of like it's rare to find a couple which are both flat earthers. I guess that you got in there together and found the truth by yourself, in a couple effort in some way, and if I'm correct. And just tell us about it. How did it work for you? And as a couple, and afterwards we'll stop speaking about Bob. We'll talk only about you.
Well, as a couple coming into it, we came into it very much as a couple, and my husband just happens to be very articulate. We came into it quite accidentally that we were watching Flat Earth videos, and we thought they were crazy. Pretty much. Bob was more open than I was, but I definitely thought it was crazy, and went out to prove it wrong. And again, the more you look to prove it wrong, the more reality you find, and the more preponderance of evidence that, oh my gosh, there's really, really something to this. There's a lot to this, and not only does it work, but it works so much better, and it explains so much and answers so many questions. So I went into it feet first with him. Globebusters started when we donated a laser to Jared Campanella for a laser test. My husband and I don't know if people know how we got started on it. and Jaron, he was asking to borrow a laser and offering to pay return postage and that. And we were like, well, these lasers are $400 or that. We'd like to. He's done so much for the waking us up. We'd like to send him this. And so we did. He was very, very grateful. And he called my husband. And they got on the phone, and they didn't get off the phone. They were on the phone for hours. They had so much to talk about, and a kindred, finding kindred souls and kindred, histories and, different things like that. So they started talking a lot. And one time, Jaron, trying to keep up with his growing, says, I can't keep up with everything and answering. I want to answer all of these people. And Bob, you're very technical. Can you join in a little bit on a Q&A and help answer questions in the chat? And we can whip through them. Well, the two got on. They didn't take any questions. They got talking, and Globebusters was born.
Yeah, and all the rest is history, I guess, right?
All of the rest is history.
Yeah.
As far as behind the scenes, my husband has really, I think, changed it into a science-based science in a good way, or in a learning-based, logical, based reasoning. And so I would say a lot of my stuff behind the scenes is I scour the news stories and what's going on, and seeing, reporting to them. This is really what they're putting out there to the public. These are the lies they're trying to sell us. And I'm a very visual person. Mm-hmm. My husband is a very, very articulate, logically minded, worded person. So we see the world very differently. We see it through different eyes, and we try to combine it. And sometimes it works, sometimes we clash a little bit, but we always it's never boring.
Yeah, that's actually a thing that I wanted to ask you about. The different approach, between men and women to flat Earth, at least from my perspective, the whole reason that I did this show is, to strengthen, to promote. I don't know which kind of word to use to do that to women in flat Earth, because first of all, I can see that there are fewer than men, in numbers, first of all. But second of all, I think that they have a special role in flat Earth. If, for instance, men are trying to convince other people, other globalists, that of flat Earth, they usually use more scientific and more practical numbers and more equations to try to prove what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And in my perspective, it's kind of it doesn't usually work. I think that kind of the emotional approach of women can be very a kind of a change of direction. With explaining flat Earth, with advocating flat Earth, because women are bringing more the sensitive approach. They're bringing more the story itself. And I think this is what really attracts people to flat Earth. So this is my philosophy. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you're really on. I think women, I don't know if this is a good way of putting it, but I think women give more credit out there to others that we're not necessarily right, but we're more interested in planting the seed and having them figure it out themselves as opposed to convincing them. Mm-hmm. I think most women I know, it's just more important to plant the seed and let people interpret and grow their own way, where I think men try to take you start to finish. Yeah. And women say, hey, just think about it a little bit and let the seed grow. Because I like instead of telling people exactly how it works or what's wrong. Mm-hmm. I'm into the problem solving and the thinking and the pondering and the possibilities. I think a lot of women are like that. I think that there might even be a lot more women than you think in Flat Earth. I hear from so many of them that are not on YouTube and that are not. Yeah. YouTube is somewhat of a toxic environment, and these people are. Why? Mm-hmm. Yeah. They don't have time to spend all of their time on the chat rooms in YouTube. They might be running the videos in the background and listening to what's going on, but they're cooking for their children. They're out doing their gardening. They're working. They're doing different things, and it's hard for a lot of women to commit to being a keyboard warrior. You have things that practically your family needs to be fed, and things have to happen. And I'm not saying that it's not that men don't have to get other things done, but I'm saying that women are usually more of a hands-on as opposed to being locked onto a computer keyboard. Mm-hmm. So while men might be talking the talk, I think there are a lot of women out there, and I think they're walking the walk. I think they're planting gardens. I think they're looking around. I think they're raising children to look and question. I think their role is really priceless.
Yeah, I think
to educate.
And you're also and you're also like a mother. So I believe that for women, especially mothers, the whole educational aspect of flat Earth is more like relevant and important. They kind of like question what they teach people children at school and about like the global eye. And I think that this is kind of like more relevant to women. This kind of like thing which relates to their children than men are. Am I correct?
I think so. I think women, it's important for them to be out there with their children, showing them, look at the sun, look at the moon, look at the phases and how they work with time, look at how simple and beautiful it is. Look at the perception. Don't get caught up in the electronics and the digital world. Stop and look. Stop and look. And if you stop and look, you'll understand how important the truth is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And understand that they're trying to deceive us by having us, glued to a little mechanical box sending us digital signals. And so again, I think that why you might not say there's as many women out there, I think that there might even be more, and they're just focusing on different aspects.
Do you think maybe what do you think is like less appealing to women in flat Earth, that they are less involved with that? What is like what they are like aware of or afraid of when they see like a flat Earth and don't want to be involved with? Do you think?
I think a lot of it is on YouTube and in the chat rooms and that it's toxic. It's not actual discussions. It's proving right or wrong. I mean, women live in more areas of gray, I think, where you see the right and the wrong in things. That again, it could be a wrong distinction on it. But arguing something is right and having something be right are two different things to us. And the argument, once you know, the argument gets old, watching it being argued over and over again. And I'm not speaking for all women, I don't pretend to, but I'm speaking for this woman that just watching the negativity and people getting sucked into the negativity and spending their time angry about the lies instead of going out and looking and seeing, hey, look what you have. Go outside, look what you have. Look at the grass growing, look at the trees, look at the rocks, go put your foot in a stream and see what you're whining about. The thing about flat Earth that I think that is the most deceptive about it is they would say, why would you hide it? In the that we're so insignificant and so meaningless, they do hide it. They make us feel worthless and not look around and glued to the panic on the next event that's going to happen and it's going to wipe out and everybody is going to die. And I mean, we're not looking at really what's around us. Instead, we're raping what's around us. We're taking energy that's giving freely and wonderful, and instead, out of greed, we're raping, destroying the earth. We're not looking at it at all, other than in ways to make more dollars in our bank account. That, again, as a woman, I can say I've never ever seen a U-Haul attached to a hearse at a funeral. You can't take it with you.
Now, on that aspect, do you think like that flat Earth is actually related, or let's say the global lie is actually related to, I know, the patriarchal world, the world that men dominate in some way? Do you think it had kind of like a relation to both things? If women would run things, our world would look otherwise, maybe with less lies?
I think the global lie is completely a matter of control, and again, a way to make it that you feel worthless, insignificant. What you do doesn't matter, and I think it's everything about the lie. I think, again, if we understood how special we were and how life matters, we wouldn't have a lot of the wars and the silly things over it. Again, if you look at reality, there's abundance there. There's very little to fight about if you take greed out of the picture.
Okay, great. I think questions for dear Cami?
What can we do to make you girls come forward and give us the love that all the guys need, so we can be equal and we will grow better? you can help us teach the kids, because you know all about education, you do it at home. I think the women's role is very important because they're at home teaching the kids and, you know, educate. So
one of the things I think that can be done, and again, it's only in moderation, but I think that what has happened on the internet is again, people get very brave behind keyboards, and it sometimes brings out the best and the worst. But people are confusing censorship and free speech. I think they're confusing it a lot, and there's not enough friendly places available to go. People come in and think that they can take over other people's spaces, and they turn it into a toxic, vile area, and that by deleting their comments, you're taking away their free speech. You're not. They have their own page if they want to talk vile on it, if they want to be vulgar. Free speech to me is having your own page to do that on.
yeah.
But we're confusing it, and we're making every single page vile. So I'm saying that while I don't want to censor what somebody else says, I would like to see more places that are a little bit more family friendly, a little bit less vulgar, a little bit less vile. And until you can produce that type of environment, that, again, I will go into, I don't even, know how to do this. I'll go into somebody's chat and just say, hi, everybody. And you'll have groups of trolls saying things like, why do you show your vagina everywhere? And it's like, who are these people? Where, I don't want to be in this room. It's like, it is. It's seriously, you want to know why there are not women out there. But when women go in and get treated like that in the chat, and people say that if you remove that comment, you're blocking our free speech.
Yeah, I know. But we think on Flat Earth Society, it's a little bit different, because we believe that everybody is equal. It doesn't matter the color of your skin or the gender.
Exactly.
So I think women have more space over here, on the Flat Earth Society to come forward and, bring the love.
Make it up.
Instead of all technicals and numbers and you see they're lying. It's okay to do, but we need the second side, so we can be complete. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
How can
maybe their role is just
out?
a little bit different than yours.
Yeah. How can we give a shout out to all women to come forward, come to Flat Earth Society and show yourself you're equal over there?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I don't want them to come to Flat Earth Society, because Flat Earth Society
pushes a lot of information. Word terminology.
Pushes a lot of information that makes us look really ridiculous.
Me over here.
Really
I'm a musician, so
but
I can talk.
But no, just be. I think if you show women are going to be the easiest to convert, because if you take them and do the common sense and put, are you really on a spinning water bowl, and make them logically as an adult think about it, look around you, they're going to be some of your easiest converts. They may not play the role that you want them to play as far as outprint in the news right now and yelling at people and calling them globetards or silly things like that. But they're raising your children right now, and so the role they have, I think, is priceless, and a lot depends on what they're doing right now. So if it's not even in the forefront, if it's in the background, and just raising a kinder, gentler generation of children that appreciate and see where we are. That's what I'd like to see with the women. And again, the ones that want to come forward, yay. It's not easy.
No.
All right, Cami, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's heading? What is heading for you? What are you planning to do in the next future regarding Flat Earth? What kind of activities, shows? Do tell us.
Well, upcoming in Flat Earth and myself, there's a lot of possibilities on the horizon. There always are. I hope to start a channel really and do it on the work of how the world works. I did, if anybody goes to Good Times for All, GUDTIMS, the number 4 and all, you can find a presentation that we did at the presentation videos at the international conference. That was how the world works.
Great.
And I'm proud of the videos that we put together on it. Again, it's just looking at things through, I would say, very clean eyes, and things that we know, and things that we don't know, and things that are possible, but just looking at it with open eyes and saying, we're learning along the way. We're introducing things that may be right, it may be wrong, but we're just looking at how things might work. I'm very interested in that. I like using how the world would work in a natural thing. I look at fluorescent lighting, photoluminescence, somnoluminescence, magnetics through Vericel and that. I don't know if you're familiar with any of my work, but I can send you a little bit afterwards. Again,
Sure.
I stay in the background with what I do, but what I do, even though I don't know if it's so significant in getting the word out there, it's why I don't sleep at night. It's what I'm passionate about.
It is significant because I think that the main essence of Flat Earth is to be creative, okay, as a person, and to do whatever you can create and just do it. I think that in the Bible, in the sixth day, when God created man, He created him in His image, okay, and I think that it's not like He created him in His shape, okay, or that He resembled to Him, but He gave him the most important thing that the God is actually the quality that God has, and this is the creation itself. Okay, people themselves have to be creative, and in any way you do it, so it's great and it's blessed, and even if it's behind the scenes, it's still visible from what I think.
Yes, I've looked at the different cosmologies and what the Bible it is. I have to say, my favorite and some of the most complete. So an idea of things that I would look at would be that if you look at the firmament described as the Bible, it's described as a vault of looking glass material, if you think of it. Yeah. A river, a shining river, a vault of looking glass. And so if we take away and actually go back to old cosmologies and biblical cosmologies and look at something like that, if you actually took a vault of looking glass, it's going to work as a miroscope, a natural hologram emitter. Not something that would actually produce if you had the sun and moon and that in the firmament. It could actually be making natural holographic skies complete, elegantly analog, where it's actually mirroring down, the heat, the cold, all of the different rays. And so things I do are things of looking at that and saying, what is it saying, and what are the possibilities of that? And I found it fascinating that, again, the description of the firmament matches a child's toy that look up miroscope, mirascope, something that is a natural hologram emitter. Again, I don't believe our God works very clumsy. I think it's beautiful. So the possibilities are endless out there.
Yeah, one of the things that we are pretty much involved with in our occupation here in Flat Earth in Israel is pretty much involved with Hebrew, okay, with the Hebrew language, and see the exact places in the Bible, in the original language which is written, which actually indicates that we're living in Flat Earth, and we got tons of proofs, and this is the thing that I personally like to research, and both Asi, and I think that this is a thing that at least people from the States, from other countries in the world can, get lots of knowledge from us.
Yes.
I'm trying to be modest, but to get knowledge about the Hebrew language itself, and all kind of clues that we have over there for Flat Earth, and I can, if we had more time, I can pull out tens of them, from the Bible, from
here.
The Hebrew language itself. It has tons of proofs.
Tons of.
For those that don't know, and I hope everybody does, the Hebrew language, unlike any other language, and I take it you guys will know this, if it's spoken correctly into an oscilloscope, it's actually going to form the letter, the sound wave. In other words, your wave will actually, spoken correctly, reproduce each other. That is brilliant. I mean, you're actually seeing in Hebrew, unlike any other language, a visual representation of the sound through an oscilloscope when done correctly. I don't know if people know the way that, again, you can fold over the letters and get the sacred geometry. There's so much when you look at it in Hebrew, and I wish I could read Hebrew. You guys have so much to bring to the table. I am fascinated with everything about it. And I'd love to pick your brains on so much with that, because again, so much can be learned. It's all there. It's just decoding it, and it's real helpful if you understand the language.
Good. So we will schedule for a quick session of Flat Earth Hebrew. Yeah.
Flat Earth Hebrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it. And of course, we'll be in contact with you and Bob, and we'll do some great things together.
Yes.
Cami, it was a great pleasure for you that you hosted in our show. Thank you again, and hoping that we'll talk together pretty much soon. Any last words for Cami?
Thank you, Cami.
Thank you, guys. It was really nice to be here. I think, if I remember correctly, I'm from Israel. Lehitraot would be the right. Is that?
Yes, that's true.
Lehitraot.
Litot.
Right.
Litot. Oh, shalom.
Litot.
Shalom. You guys, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You too.
Thanks.
Thanks. Let's go to our next segment. Bye-bye. Okay, hello again, everyone, and welcome back to ESH News in this edition of special edition of Ladies' Night, of course. And with us, we got very two special ladies. We got all the way from Great Britain. We got Cameron and Sam. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. So in this segment, I say this is we're gonna do a new thing. They're gonna interview us, I guess. Yeah.
It's nice.
Nice. Sam and Cameron are doing a documentary which is related to Flat Earth and related to their, I guess, studies.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about it, and I don't know the details or what you're looking for in this movie.
Okay, so our film is based on the people within the Flat Earth community and what they believe in and the people that they've met and the connections that they've made through that community.
Mm-hmm. Great. And from that point forward, I guess I will let you lead the interview. I guess that you got like a couple of questions for us. Me and Asi, I guess, as parts of the Flat Earth community. We actually like to call ourselves a movement. Yeah, we're a movement, but we are a community. Yeah. Okay, let's. I'm ready with the questions, and let's go do it.
So our first question is, how long have you all been a part of the Flat Earth community and movement?
Okay. I will start. I actually got it through YouTube, for like movies on YouTube. I fell asleep one noon time and woke up, and there was this YouTube shuffling me all kinds of like history movies and I don't know, conspiracy movies. And over there I got Flat Earth movies revealing to me, and at first I thought it was the stupidest thing ever that I saw, and but then I remember I was a little bit too lazy to get up from the couch to switch on the next movie, and it was also a Flat Earth movie, and this one actually made sense. So I started researching it, and I think the whole community thing came along in about the last year or so, when we got in touch with first of all with Israeli flat earthers, and then worldwide flat earthers that we are in contact with and bringing here to these shows. And Asi, what about you?
Since you started, we start asking questions and start, trying to seek for ourselves the truth that's good for us. So I think community, if you can call it a community, basically we share the same interest of knowing the truth. So it's not actually a community, it's more of a movement of
Ideas.
yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so how does your religion and your location where you live affect your belief in the Flat Earth?
Yeah, it's a hard question, especially when you ask it to
Good
Israelis.
question.
Yeah, like, and this is a question that kind of like I'm getting from lots of flat earthers all over the world about how is like my location, because I think that Israel, our location, is very special and unique in that sense. because lots of flat Earth clues or proofs are in the Bible, okay, and lots of flat earthers are believing the biblical story, especially the creation story told in Genesis 1, and over there are lots of like flat earth clues. Now the language that the Bible was originally written is Hebrew, and this is the exact same language that we're using today. And for me, it's kind of like I feel very special in that sense that I got to be like a flat earther and a guy that understands Hebrew, and so I can understand all kinds of like different clues in the sense that I guess just a few more people in the world can understand, like only the Israelis, which are like pretty much of a small percent. Yeah, so this is for me. How about you?
Pretty much the same. That's our language, so we can read the Bible, the Old Testament, and understand it. And understand that there is like a different answers for one question, or maybe one phrase can be like a lot of things. But you need to know the language. So for us, it's like more easy to understand the truth through the Bible, because over there you got the truth. That's it.
I have another answer for that actually about our location. Is that Israel is known to have the land itself, not the state, is known to have a very rich history of all kinds of religious revolutions and people conquering this land, and the Old Testament, of course. So all those things kind of like you can still feel them today, okay? Those historical things you can still in the air today, and we do feel that part of the thing of being Israeli flat Earth is a thing that we expect that big things are going to happen from over here. Okay, that kind of like maybe the kind of like the revolution of this movement, or some kind of like a new inspiration will come up and pop up from this land specifically. So this is another thing that I kind of like feel related, or it's like kind of like destiny that I got involved with flat Earth in Israel.
Don't forget that Christianity came out of the Holy Land, Judaism came out of the Holy Land, Muslims came out of the Holy Land. It's like there is a special energy in this land that only if you're here you can feel it. So come to Israel. Come visit us.
Yeah. Good. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. On for the next question.
Yes. So the flat Earth theory and movement, we've like after doing a lot of research, we've realized that there are very different one thing that each of them has in common is that the Earth is flat, but then there's like the ice wall in Antarctica and the dome over everything. Which one of those, if either of those, are you all more drawn towards?
I think that it's mainly like the biblical story that tells the truth for us. Not because we are religious, but it's kind of like the story that makes sense. We kind of like realize that the other story is a lie. Okay, the heliocentric lie, the globe lie, and after that you kind of like research that with the other story that you got, okay, which is the biblical story. Now over there in the biblical story, the whole concept of the firmament, of the ice wall, of the flat Earth is being revealed, okay, through the text. Now for me personally, it's not those things are not particularly things that I can prove, okay. So I'm involved with that. I'm like interested on what it is, but no one really has proved what it is. The whole thing with the ice walls and the firmament and all of that. So we like researching because it's like interesting, but we are researching also like other aspects of flat Earth, other fields of flat Earth, which are I think interesting pretty much the same. Like I know, media and flat Earth, and
Music.
the music and flat Earth, people and flat Earth. There's lots of other like fields that you can research, and this is one of the things that we actually prefer. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the same.
Same. All right.
So why do you think that the governments and NASA would lie about the flat Earth and say that it's a globe?
Oh gosh, that's a big question, and it's a lot.
Uh,
Basically, they wanna.
There's actually a very simple answer for that, and a very short one. To hide God. Hide God. This is pretty much the whole story. Okay. There is like there were a time, but like before 500 years ago, that people, the majority of the people, believed in God and that He was the creator. And I guess in that time, people came along and wanted to create kind of like a new religion or so, okay, or a new concept or a new belief, and they kind of like persuaded people to believe in science over God. But God is still existing, okay? It still exists. You can still you can still see Him in the creation that we are seeing every day. So what they're trying to do is hiding it, okay, in every possible way. For instance, in here, the equivalent to NASA that we got over here in Israel is the Science Institution, the Weizmann, the Weizmann Science Institution, okay, which is actually a place that was founded on some kind of like a biblical story that we believe was here, the Isaac's well, okay, from Genesis. So we believe that the well was here, and somehow they insisted to establish this facility of science on top of this land that once was the well within. So this is kind of like the manipulations that we are seeing from NASA and from other like scientific institutes is pretty much the whole concept of hiding God, because God is kind of like I don't want to say the rival, but this is like denies their existence, if I'm correct.
You can simplify that and say the reason they want to act like this and hide and tell you a big lie is because they want to keep you as small as possible. They want to keep you a peck of dust on a spinning ball on a huge, I don't know, space. You like this, so you're not important. They gather you around cities. They tell you there is like overpopulation in the world, but when you're flying on an airplane, you see just land. You don't see cities. You see some city and then land, and a city. They gather everybody around one places on special places, tell them to build up, stay up, not without even feeling the ground.
Yeah.
This is why we feel here in Israel that only then, when we step on the ground, we feel the ground. I don't know, there is a different atmosphere. And when somebody tells you, hey, you're not working on the ground, you're working on air. So you can't believe him, you know, it's like they lie to you on your face. To your face, sorry. So, yeah.
The funny thing about it that they bring you up from the flat earth, okay, and they sell you a thing which is called flat, okay, or apartment, things that you should like be parted from other people, parted from the ground, living on a some kind of like allegedly flat plane, okay.
That's a way to control you and divide you from others and control you. Like you're in a system that like you know exactly what you're gonna do for the rest of your life. They know what you're gonna go to kindergarten, then you're gonna go to school, then you're gonna go to work, then you're gonna buy an apartment, then you got a mortgage, then you're gonna die, and then you're gonna live all of those for the next one.
Yeah.
So this is why they want to do it. This is why they want to keep it as they want to keep as small as possible, narrow-minded as possible.
Oh, and it's the actual control. This is the motives to keep in control of our lives. Okay, it doesn't really. Flat Earth is just like the punchline of all. Oh, bless you. See, still sick from yesterday. The flat Earth is just the punchline. Okay, the whole conspiracy, the whole lies, the whole I don't know control. Okay, is a lot bigger. Okay, it's being done like with so many aspects, and this is not only like NASA. NASA is only like with everything regards to science. You have the whole internet exploded with all kinds of other theories that people are like objecting and protesting today, chemtrails and I don't know cellular G5 antennas and things like that. This is a whole world to explore, but we actually like to stay on flat Earth because I don't know, it's a lot more I don't know hopeful subject, I think.
Yeah, they got like hope inside.
Yeah. All right.
So has being a flat Earth part of the flat Earth movement affected your personal and or professional life?
Okay, yeah, good question. It's a I was talking professional because it's kind of like funny because me and Asi are also partners in our businesses. So we spend together a lot of time each day, and once I actually got Flat Earth into the business, so we kind of like got involved in both like Flat Earth and both with our everyday job. Now, about like how it affected, it kind of like first of all, we always the main concept that we started to believe in once we started to be involved with Flat Earth is that you don't need a leader. Okay, you don't need a leader in any way, not in political sense, not in business, not in your personal life, in your family. There's no need for a leader, and this is how we run our business. Okay, and it's very much related to Flat Earth. Okay, because
That's what the explanation. When you
Yeah.
do like a triangle, right? And you got somebody on top always. So what he's going to decide is going to affect all below, right? But if there is none over there, then it's going to open for discussion, open for different minds, different thoughts, you know? So when you're equal, it's much easier to get somewhere.
And I guess regarding our personal life, for me, I actually like I discovered Flat Earth quite accidentally. I think right after I got divorced. I don't know if like it's related or not, but after that I kind of like got involved with that. And pretty much first of all I got into like my family and my close friends and I told them, yeah, I believe in that and that and that, and everybody told me, ah man, you're crazy, you flipped out. And they kind of like most of them kind of like related that to the divorce. They said, oh man, you are like in a serious crisis after the divorce, I don't know what you're doing, and you are, I don't know, maybe taking all kinds of stuff and maybe watch some creepy movies at night, whatever. And I got a really bad backlash from some of my friends. But as I went along, I saw that some of my friends do support me, as well as Asi over here. And besides that, like in the last year, we got acquainted with other flat Earth people here in Israel and in the world. And I will say that lots of them are just became my friends this year, and there are people that became the last year very dear to my heart, and people finally that you are like able to meet a person that has the same opinions as yours. It gets you into a very good I know mood, and you feel comfortable with that man. You don't feel you need to apologize for giving crazy ideas and I don't know hurting people with that. And once you do, like having this this feeling with the other people, you get into a very close relationship with them.
Okay, so how do you feel about the way that the Flat Earth community movement is viewed by everyone on the outside?
Especially media.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think. Yeah,
in
Asi?
Israel, it's a little bit different because beginning they laugh at the community,
Mhm.
and now they start to asking people to come for shows and asking questions, and something changed.
Something changed. Yeah.
Something changed.
I
Here
think-
in Israel.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest of the world. I know in the United States it's like it's a big no-no for everybody. Nobody likes them and think they are crazy and all kinds of ways.
Mhm.
But here in Israel, you can see a change because you can see in 1 year when the first Facebook, no, 2 years ago, the first Facebook page that opened in Israel now have something like around 300, 400 people a week comes in, like new participants. So that's strength, you know.
I think
Something's changing.
yeah, something has changed in the last year or so. Beforehand, yeah, flat earthers were considered pretty much crazy, pretty much weird, with all kinds of like irrelevant opinions. With my friends and personal life, I explained before. But as for like the general view on the flat earth movement, this is a thing that we've been involved with and trying to advocate for. I think that me and Asi, we initiated the first meeting of the Flat Earth group in my living room. We did that, and then afterwards we started. We did like event, okay, in a local pub. We invited the people. We invited the speakers to have lectures, and we actually formed a band, the Flat IL band. That Asi was a part in, that they played all kind of flat earth songs, whatever. It was a nice evening, and after that evening, I have this article over here, which is it was published. There was a news reporter over there, and he made an article on this evening. And he interviewed me and lots of other flat earthers. And after that, it was published in the main section of the Yediot Ahronot newspaper, which is the main newspaper in Israel, in the weekend edition. And this article was actually considered for me kind of like a landmark, because in this article they didn't showed us as crazies, you know. They showed us as
they asked questions.
it was kind of like balanced overview of this event. And afterwards, we were like hosted in other media, like mainstream media, in television, in radio, in all kinds of like shows. And these were like, as the year gone by, the interview seems to be like a little bit more, I don't know, supportive, but a little bit more like questionable. Yeah.
Maybe I think it's because of the in Hebrew you got the morning blessing, and in the morning blessing you have the God makes the firmament. Every day you need to say that. So I think it's easier for people who say that every day to accept it.
Maybe so, but the overall...
Maybe ask questions about it.
The overall media, or like Israel, is first of all, is, I don't want to say, we have a multiculturalism and a multi-idea kind of like society, okay? People bring ideas from all over the world, and each one has his own private religion that he manages, whatever.
By the way, not all of them are wearing black, and
but there's even inside Judaism, there's lots and lots of like streams and beliefs and whatever, and it's quite like popular that everyone in Israel just get up in the morning one day and decides that he wants to believe in an idea and to get people following after him. So
that's the atmosphere here.
So I think the atmosphere is quite acceptable for new ideas, and
that's why Jesus succeeded so much.
Yeah, I guess. I think that also like religious people over here, they also have very big issues with science. Okay, they also don't believe in things which are in the science, like the Big Bang or evolution or the all heliocentric life. So they I think more close to flat earthers with accepting these ideas.
Because of the Bible, because of the Holy Land, because they live in a place that they read the stories from back ago. So it's much easier for them to understand or relate it to that.
I think
is there anything else that you would say to someone who is not a flat earther, I guess.
Yeah.
What I would say for someone who's not a flat earther. Oh, I think that every time that I do speak about flat Earth with people who are not realized about that, I do begin my first statement, my first request from him before I'm starting, I know, putting all kinds of like informations or disinformations to his head, is first of all, he is not supposed to believe me. He should like research it for himself. But the most important thing once you are like getting involved with flat Earth is to separate between two kind of like knowledge, two kind of knowledge that you got in your mind. The first one is a knowledge that you gain out of your everyday. The first one is like outer source knowledge, meaning all kinds of like knowledge that you get from books, from the internet, from your family, from your teachers, all the things that comes to you from outside. The second kind of knowledge is the knowledge that you gain from the inside. Is the knowledge that you're getting out of your senses, meaning that your experiences teach you all kinds of things about the place that you are living. For instance, I don't know, if you're going up the street and you see like a kind of like a hill or something like that, and you're telling yourself, oh, I need to climb this hill, and then you're telling yourself, oh, it's going to be hard, and how do you know it's going to be hard? Because you probably walked this hill before, and you know it's like physically hard, and those kind of things that you can feel by your own senses. Just as you are like looking at the sky in the morning and you see the sun in one place and then it switches to another place, and you don't see and you don't feel in your senses that you are moving anywhere, unless you took something, I don't know, drug or something, but you don't feel that you don't move anywhere, okay? You see the sun going from one place to another, and as you kind of like rely on your senses, okay, and believe, and you are telling yourself that your senses are not lying to you, and you can count on them to understand the world. This is the starting point of flat Earth, I think.
Shortly, ask questions. Don't believe everything you told and everything you learned. Just ask questions. Even if the answer is going to be something you don't going to like, or if you, maybe it's the truth, maybe it's not. Just ask questions. Feel free. Free your mind. This is the main thing for this whole movement. It's not just the earth is flat and we believe in that and that's it. No. Free your mind. Ask questions. Don't be as narrow as they try to make you. Look at mathematics when they give you a big, huge something that you need
equation.
You need to narrow it until you get to one number, and if you miss by an inch, you're not good. You need to be exactly narrowed as we told you to be. So, no, free your mind, open, think big, ask questions. If we're traveling in 1,000 miles an hour, spinning, and we don't feel it, so why is that? If no one's giving you an answer, a good one, then try to figure out yourself, Free your mind. Don't be narrow. That's it.
Now, I got like another question for you. I think that you told me that this movie is involved with, is about the people of Flat Earth, the movement of Flat Earth. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I believe I got additional answer for you, although you didn't ask me any question. But it's kind of like the thing that we are involved with, and we decided that we want to be occupied with is actually the people themselves of Flat Earth. People
This is what we do.
Yeah, people in Flat Earth are being involved with all kinds of fields. There are people who like to measure things, there are people who like to get involved with the science, people who like to be involved with the media, people who likes to, I don't know, be activists on the street. Each and every one is choosing for himself his own type of thing that he likes to be creative in. Now, for me and Nancy, we chose the type of the field of the people of Flat Earth, the actual people, because we think that the ideas, okay, or the whole movement is starting from the ideas of people, and the other the thing that is most interesting and is more worthwhile to research and to get to know the actual people. And if it's like a movement of something that kind of like unites them and makes them feel like together in what they're doing, so it's good. This is the way it should be, I think. And this is what we're trying to organize from here, from Little Israel. This is.
Also, one more thing, sorry to disturb you, one more thing that we think about when we talk about movement or flat earth is like there is everybody is equal. If you're not that small, like a speck of duck, so you're important. It doesn't matter if you're a boy, a girl, black, white, it doesn't matter. You're equal. And this is the main thing of flat earth movement. That there is no leader, you're an equal. You're important. Each and every one of you are important, even your opinion. So instead of like teaching you how to be whatever they need you to be in order for them to make their money, they need to use you as you. You need to be you. You don't need to change all your life just to be something else. You understand what I'm saying? Let's say music. In music, when you're a musician, when you play rock, and wow, it's for you. It's like it's you. And somebody said, no, from there to today you play only funky music. You need to learn it, only that you can do. That's it, you cannot play rock. It's like a little bit disturbing, you understand what I'm saying?
All right, so thank you very much.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, it was so great.
אתה רוצה לשאול אותם שאלה אולי על הערב נשים? Something about
Yeah, and so I guess was done choking over there.
Feel good.
It was great having this interview. Thank you very much. And for you participating in our ESH News Ladies Night, you've been a well-blessed addition to it. And we'll be in touch soon, I guess. Keep us updated on how's the movie coming along, and if we can do anything to help you along.
Thank you all so much for participating in our documentary and letting us interview you.
Yeah,
all.
it was great. Thank you so much,
Thank
honestly.
you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello everyone! And today in our Ladies Night edition we got ourselves one hell of a guy to interview. Mr. Lior Mizrachi! Boom boom boom!
Din din din.
One more, Lior? One more fact?
Give us-
One more fact for
Give
the
us one more.
entrance.
Ah,
Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, hello Lior Mizrachi, welcome to our ESH News show, and we are very delighted to have you over here. Whoever doesn't know, Lior Mizrachi is a well-known figure here in Israel, a great alchemist, a great flat earther, and I
Great
guess
thinker.
a great thinker, yes, and a great person altogether. Yeah, when he's like in good sanity. And I guess today we're gonna talk to him about a very interesting subject, and gonna hear what we have to say. But first of all, Lior, how are you this evening?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. You're doing great job in the movement of the Flat Earth Israel. I'm really glad that I met you. That I give you the push. I told you 1 year before that, Nir, we need someone like you that know how to organize people, know how to management, know how to do things. And you make the Flat Earth Israel spread the truth. Everyone in Israel know that there is movement of Flat Earth,
True.
even if they not admit it. What happened?
Never mind.
Never mind.
So everyone know, even if they try to deny the truth, everyone know that we are success with the things that we done. All day we expose another thing and another truth, and the big truth that behind. behind in the lives of the earth, the ball earth.
Yeah.
It's the alchemy that we need to expose. That's it.
Okay, and
Today-
speaking of
Today's
which,
great show. You're very smart that you came to this along. I'm not telling you that we need to do it. You get that in yourself. The problem is there is no equal between male and female.
True.
good. Yeah, and here
There
is.
is talk about it.
Yes, let's talk
Very
about it.
nice.
Yeah, the thing is that tonight we are talking about Ladies' Night, and we're talking about the women of Flat Earth, and we actually we interviewed some women over here, and we got you because I wanted to hear and for you to share your opinion with how Flat Earth is, first of all, related to women, what women can do over in Flat Earth activity in general, and altogether, how is like the big globe lie that they keep telling us is related to, I don't know, relationship between men and women, between like the whole society and women. Share with us
Share
your
some knowledge.
dear Lior.
I think the first thing is that the men, they don't know when they want to do something, tell about something. They don't know how to do it in a harmonic way. In the way that people want to listen, want to learn from them. Because we use all the time the force that we have, and we do it in way of the, if you don't listen to me, you have a problem with me.
True.
It's not need to be like this. We need to listen the voice of the woman, because we know that the woman know how to rule, not rule
Manage.
to make people get slave, but to rule for peace.
Yeah, not with strength, like
But they do it in every family. The female is the one who takes the responsibility of the
Education.
the education of the children. In the way that we educate, good thing, not rule the world between war after war. This is what men know what to do. They know how to fight.
You know how to fight.
Okay, and what happened actually with the world today, with this old male dominance that we're seeing over here, and how is that related to the big lie that they are telling us?
You need to go to the past, because the lie about the woman, it starts from the Bible, from the story about Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Everything in this story is a lie. So of course the story about Eve is a lie.
Okay, what's the lie?
Things that the right that she do with the snake. They actually said that they do sex.
Yeah,
They
with
change
the
the sperm from one each other. This is what all the Eve do with the snake, and then she make Adam to eat the apple.
Yes, seduce
Not
that.
apple. There is no trees. Yeah, there is heaven. It's place on earth, but there is no trees on there, and all this story is a lie. You can understand if you go to there. You can understand how the God created the world, because over there you can see the electromagnetism that give all the energy from the world for the world. So you learn alchemist if you go to the Eden Garden.
Okay.
And
Now,
if you are alchemist, you can also get the knowledge to how to get immortal life. And how to get all the knowledge that they have, that the God have, how to create energy, how to change metal, how to make diamonds, how to do all this stuff, you can learn. So all the story about the Garden of Eden is a lie, and all the story about the Eve is a lie. And that's what they do from all over the history. They take the woman and they make them like they're not equal. The both of them, it's nothing.
Now,
They're here to make the men enjoy in their life. It's not like this.
And tell me, how does it affect like family life nowadays? Because we see like lots of divorce, lots of like fighting between men and women. How is that? Let's say the initial scene of this lie kind of like affect nowadays.
I think it's complicated because there is something that happened in the time that make women to not know what is woman. You see women act like men, fight like men,
Trying to be man.
try to be men. Even the way that they were, it's like the men. You can see girls of the Knesset. You can see Tamar Zandberg, you can see Miri Regev, you can see all the women.
They look like men.
Like men, they get suit with that. And they're not
really women.
why it's like this? It's not because the women want to be like men. It's because the woman think that if she
Gonna act like a man.
she gets like man, she get the
More power.
the equal that she want.
And we got also like as a result of that, I think we got kind of like
That's what happened.
gender confusion going on over here, right?
This is the problem that make so much divorces and that, because there is no two sides that equal the balance. The men that have ups and downs, and the woman that can make him stop in the right direction. What happened is the men have up and downs, and the women have up and downs, and they fight all the time. It is broken. The first thing that we need to do to achieve that the things is to tell the story about the life of history. It's not just Eve. All the girls in the past, they destroyed our name. Destroyed
Their name,
the
women's name.
meaning of the woman in this life.
They call them witches. They call them
In the past, and we need to expose the light of the past in order to get the equal that we want to achieve.
Good. Tell me, Leo, you are kind of like an expert in ancient civilizations and ancient, empires that were here before.
Wish I was.
Yeah. Now, tell us, was it like different in the past with like relationship between men and women in the ancient civilization, from what you know?
I think today it's the world want to show fake equal. That, like, if in the past there was no equal, today there is equal. You can see Angela Merkel. You can see girls make a TV show and all this stuff, but it's not really equal. And I think the difference is, I think there is not a lot of difference, but they try to show us fake different, fake equal.
Okay.
Why do you think they want to show us? Why do you think, Leo, they want to show us the fake equal if they don't want it?
Because if you go to every government you can say there is no eco. And even if there is eco, the God not have the last say. But what the country wanna do.
What do you say about Sarah Netanyahu?
Come on, spill it all, Lior. Come on.
Take it out. Give us.
Crazy people there is in everywhere.
All right.
I don't know a lot about her. She's nothing. I'm not spend my time about the Sarah Netanyahu and the husband that kill Yitzhak Rabin and destroy country.
Getting too much stuff over here.
Do you think she
And just rise the
Do you think she control Bibi?
capitalism killed us all.
Do you think she control Bibi? For real?
I think the devil control Bibi. And if she is Lilith, so yeah, the two of them control them.
All right, hard stuff. Anyway, Lior
Sad.
Mizrachi, tell us.
The devil control Donald Trump of you also. So don't get mad of the Hebrew man.
No.
You're satanistic also, all of you.
Of course. Lior Mizrachi, tell us a little bit about your plans, what to do with Flat Earth, with alchemy in the next future, as we getting close to the end of the interview.
I wish soon I get this Magen David to fly. It's made of copper,
Yeah.
and you can make copper, gold, aluminium, and all and another metal to fly. If you electricate them, and there is magnet in there over there. You can make them the copper on the floor, and the magnet tap and electricate the copper and the magnet fly, and you can do it opposite, like the magnet in the ground, and the copper when you electricate is gonna fly. You need to electricate it with AC electric, because when you make AC electricity, you make also electromagnetism from the magnet. And the electromagnetism, it's spread in a big volume, and the copper and all the diamagnetic metal try to get away from this electromagnetic wave. It's not wave, but electromagnetic
Magnetic
shield.
force?
Like if you take magnet, you have magnetism
Yeah.
near of the magnet.
Yeah.
If you electricity, you get big volume of electromagnetism, and that's why the copper fly, that's why the aluminum can fly, that's why the gold can fly, and we can use it. We can use it to make everything to fly with little bit electricity. We don't need the engine of the airplane that takes so much fuel. And this is also conspiracy. We don't know how fuel it's taken. Maybe it's not take a lot of fuel. It's something for another conversation.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Lior Mizrachi. Oh,
We can fly things with knowledge of electricity and alchemy, and we can make a lot of things with electricity that they don't show us today, because they want to sell us the energy. They want. This is what they do.
You wanna
They
make money?
get two world war to make everything that you can make free. The corporation sell you. They sell you energy. They sell you food. They sell you
Oil,
water,
sell you gas.
and you can't collect water. And you can't in Israel. You're not allowed to grow chicken, to get some eggs. You see what the point we get?
Yeah.
Energy.
And you can
Very energy.
electricity free. If I electricity my house with my generator, the company of electricity will come to my house 2 days later and try to understand what I've done, and maybe they make me disappear.
Okay. Good. All right, Mr. Lior Mizrachi, thank you very much for joining us to ESH News in this broadcast.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to hear your smart opinions, and hoping you a nice evening. Asi,
Bye, you going?
Going. We got a little more interviews to do, Mr. Lior Mizrachi, on Ladies' Night
I
over here.
thought
It's
you
a
make
ladies'
this
night.
interview with all of us. I want to listen what the girls said.
Don't worry, we will get to that, hopefully, when we have the technical aims to do that.
Okay, thank you for having me. Anyway, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Lior Mizrachi. Have a good evening.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are here for our next segment with dear Lisa over here, and she's in a very special location in the Globe Light Tour, and she's actually doing it for a while now. How are you, Lisa?
I'm good, yeah.
Good.
I've been doing the Globe Light Tour, I think it's getting to 3 months now.
3 months.
Wow.
She's the most courageous trooper, I think, of the whole Globe Light Tour. We actually we're gonna talk about it pretty soon, and you're gonna give your outtakes on it. But besides that, this is tonight we are in Ladies' Night in ESH News. Ladies' Night, and we kind of like wanted to talk to you as a person, as a flat earther, as a woman, and to ask you a little bit of your perspective on your specific role and I don't know, destiny within the Flat Earth movement. And so we will get right to it. I guess, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and how long are you being active, and which kind of like activism do you usually do?
Well, before I did Flat Earth activism, I wouldn't say I exactly did activism, not as in going in the streets, at least. You know, I've always been involved in different communities and sharing and putting on parties, sharing nice food and ideas and poetry and putting on events, but not necessarily activism in that context, as in going out on the streets. I did over this year, actually, for several months I was doing 5G activism in Glastonbury, and we managed to stop, well, I wouldn't say we stopped it, but we halted the 5G. So it's being postponed, and the council are reviewing the situation. So that kind of was successful, but it's still in a process. But aside from that, like last year I started doing the Globe Light Tour. The first time I joined was in Exeter, and then I loved it. I would have done all of it if I could, but it wasn't possible. So I joined the last 5 days of the tour, and then we had the final party in London.
Good.
So I enjoyed it so much that I thought, I want to do the whole thing.
This was the UK tour,
year,
right?
which I have.
That you're referring to, right?
Yeah, last year was
yeah.
the UK tour, yeah.
And now it's the whole Europe.
So this year I thought I at least want to do the UK tour. I didn't know that I was going to do like the whole European tour, but it ended up that way.
Awesome.
Great. And tell us a little bit. I know I've seen you in the last 3 months on the road usually, and keep following like Roxanne's updates and yours like throughout the day. Tell us a little bit of like experiences from over there. How's the feeling like? I personally watch you almost every evening, and I always see like the good atmosphere and the good vibes over there between the crew members of this van. And tell us a little bit about your perspective. How is like this specific experiences for you for the last 3 months?
I don't know where to begin, but I think what I enjoy about it most is meeting other globe deniers in other countries and encouraging other people to do activism, because we can only do so much, but I think if this can help to encourage other people that have never seen activism in their own countries, like today we were in Norway, and people were coming up to us in the street, and that already knew about this subject and had never seen activism, and then were really kind of shocked and pleased as to what we were doing. So if we can encourage other people to do the same thing, then that's great. You
felt kind of like a process in the awareness since you started this Global Light Tour with the general public, that you felt like the things that you're doing over there in this tour matters in the total awareness?
Yeah, I mean, we started off in England, and I found I was having a lot more conversations in England because I wasn't filming, so it was easier to have conversations. And obviously there's less of a language barrier. So in Europe, it's often not going into so much details of things, but just overall giving the general information. But in the UK, I was having a lot more depth conversations with people.
Good.
So
yeah. Okay, yeah, I will continue with the next question. Anyway, for you personally, let's talk a little bit about women or ladies' night, or our top subject over here. Do you feel there is a kind of a different approach between for you as a woman, as an activist, as if you compare to men?
I'm sure there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
In which way?
There's been a lot more men joining the tour than women, but we still today we stayed at somebody's house in Norway. That was good.
Okay.
And we met a couple of other women in Denmark. So we have had people joining, but I think they need to be encouraged to do it, because it's a very left brain thing, very analytical, and it can be very challenging. So I think it might intimidate some people, but this is why we're doing it, to kind of push it forward so that it's seen as an acceptable thing.
Good.
And the more people that do it, the more it's going to encourage others to see how it's done.
All right. Tell me, do you think there's a specific role for women, for us, our perspective is a little bit that men usually bring to the table kind of scientific proofs, schematics, all kinds of logical proofs, let's say it like that, while women bring a little bit more emotion.
I think that everybody's got their own way of expressing it, really.
All right.
And I think that every single...
Do you think it's a gender
got their own way.
Do you think it's related to gender, of how we explain the flat Earth in some way?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I think that with women it's often a lot more intuitive rather than analytical, where I just take both perspectives, really. I feel like I feel it intuitively, and I always did from young. But at the same time, I still want to understand things intellectually and understand as many technicalities as I can. But I think women kind of lean more towards intuitive and creative and just feeling.
Yes, I guess. And talking about creativity, I think the most intriguing thing for me was when I met you in Amsterdam, was that you are actually involved with poetry, flat Earth poetry. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, I write all kinds of poetry on all kinds of subjects, and I've been doing that for the last 19 years or so. So when I came into the flat Earth subject, I was led to write about it, and I felt compelled to write about it. So that's what I've been doing for the last few years. In fact, I started writing about it the first year I learnt about Flat Earth.
I think.
So that was in 2015. And I'm still writing now. Because I guess the subjects are never ending, really, aren't they?
True.
But I've also written about the concept of creationism and different aspects of Flat Earth, the psychological aspects. I kind of answer the question, why lie? I've written a poem called The History of Flat Earth that's on YouTube, which is based on Eric Debay's video, The History of Flat Earth.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've covered lots of different areas, but there's always more. I'm always generating more, but it's kind of quite difficult to write on the bus, so
Good.
I'll have to wait till the travel's
Yeah.
over.
Let's go back to the subject of ladies.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's less ladies than men in Flat Earth? No?
I don't know. I think overall, if you look at conspiracies in general, there's percentage-wise more women into Flat Earth than other conspiracies because it's just so basic, and it's not a subject that's dark or scary. It's just like, you know, where we live and about understanding the nature of reality. So in that context, there might be less women, but maybe that's because they're scared to show themselves or scared of being intimidated. I don't know. I mean, I think everybody really is scared of being intimidated with this subject, but it's just something we have to get over, and if people don't come forward and talk about it, then it's always going to be that way. So there's so many closet, you know, like globe deniers or flat earthers, whatever you want to call them in general. And if people knew when they walk down the high street that they're literally walking past globe deniers every day, they have no idea. They don't have that written on their t-shirts, most of them. Well, some people do.
I guess we have a problem in
we
Hebrew.
had any idea. It just needs to be talked about. It needs to be talked about in people's workplaces, talked about in schools, talked about in universities.
Okay. Anyway, we got a problem in Hebrew actually, in our language. It's kind of like, I think, rejects women. The problem is that we call ourselves shtuchistim in Hebrew, which means like flat earthers. But in some kind of like slang language, women you can take it as a flat-chested, which is kind of like I know for women it's kind of like I know a curse or it's not.
We need to find a different word.
Yeah, we need to find a different word in Hebrew because it's kind of like disappealing to women to use this word shtuchistim. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's many different ways to describe the subject. It's more than just the flatness.
Yes, I guess. Anyway, Lisa, tell us a little bit about the Globe Light Tour a little bit more. You're upcoming to the final stages, if I'm correct. And when is that supposed to be like ending? And how do you work out with all the harsh conditions that you got now with the Scandinavian countries over there?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's challenging here, but actually we were really lucky yesterday that we stayed with a lovely woman called Ingrid.
Okay. Yeah. I know her. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might have met her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. So this morning we stayed in Ingrid's house, came into the van, and we realised that all of the water was literally frozen. The bananas were frozen.
Wow.
And so it's pretty full on here.
Okay. How long do you got left for the tour?
Well, the tour finishes on the 8th, so I'll be here till then. And on the 8th, as far as I know, we're going to meet up in Leicester Square, 1 p.m. I don't know the location exactly.
It's called Leicester Square.
Apart from Leicester Square.
All right.
All I know is Leicester Square, 1 p.m. on the Sunday, 8th of December.
Awesome.
Good. And one more final thing, do you still financed correctly, let's say it like that. And from here we want to call all the flat earthers in Israel and whoever hears us in our entire flat earth world. I saw that there's a big effort to give donations, contributions for this, to keep the wheels rolling for this tour. So is it still like needed, or you're like settled for this tour?
Yeah, I think we're still going to need some more donations to get to the end, because this part of the leg was left till the end because there's so many different ferries involved, and we've had, the distances are longer, so we've had to have 2 days to get between each location. Mm-hmm. And for example, we had a bridge that was like 106 euros for a bridge.
Whoa, seriously.
And that was and there was no choice, there was no way of getting out of it.
What?
So some of these tolls are just ridiculous, but we're learning from it, and we'll learn different ways of doing things, but this is how it is at the moment.
Okay, good. We promise you better conditions once you do the Globe Light tour in Israel. We don't have
it's
small
not cold.
tolls.
It's not cold.
It's not cold, yeah. Anyway, so
that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
And pretty much, and Israel is kind of like a small country. You can do it the Globe Light tour in about 3 days.
3 days.
3 days. Yeah, 3 days. Anyway, tell us how do we publish for contributions, for like donations? How do we do that?
Well, the link is PayPal.me/GlobeLiEurotour.
Mm-hmm. And people can.
Is that right?
PayPal.me.
www.paypal.me/GlobeLiEurotour.
All right, good. We will spread the word.
Yeah.
Do
you want to give a shout out to all the women to join us into a lovely?
Yeah, I mean, I'd encourage anybody to come out.
Good. Thank you very much, Lisa. It's been a pleasure to having you in this in our show of ESH News, especially in our Ladies' Night. I know it was a short notice, but I'm really happy that we got a chance to speak with you. And
you're welcome.
And of course, we are still scheduled for a poetry session of Flat Earth. I have tons to talk to you about it, but this will happen once you get back from the Globe Light tour, and you'll be like more settled to be occupied with non-activist on the street stuff, but more like philosophical. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Good. All right, see you then. Send our regards to all the guys from on the van. Jason over there, as I saw him, and hello. And keep having fun, and of course you will be able to see this interview pretty soon once we get it up on ESH News.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and have a lovely evening.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.